This is the life and death of Rob Knox, childhood actor viciously murdered at age just 18. Robert Arthur Knox was born on the 21st of August 1989 in a place called Kent, here in England. To his loving parents, father Colin and mother Sally Knox. Rob also had a brother who he was incredibly close to all of his life, called Jamie. Known as a cheeky chappie who was the literal life and soul of the party and just anywhere that he went to, Rob never failed to make others around him smile and laugh. He just loved to entertain people. He was a charismatic, charming, humorous and very lovable boy who truly adored his family and friends, his brother Jamie referring to him as his best friend. Yes, they fought growing up, of course, like most siblings do, but no matter what, and at the end of the day, they always had each other's backs. And sadly, it would be whilst he was protecting his friends and loving brother Jamie that Rob would end up being savagely attacked and murdered in cold blood at his local pub. Jamie said how Rob would take him everywhere with him. They were like two peas in a pod, with a bond so deep it could never be broken. Rob attended Beth's Grammar School in an area called Bexley in London. He was a very talented, smart young boy with so much to offer, and at just aged 11 he would begin acting, having a huge passion for it. I believe his brother did too, and they would even go for auditions with one another. Still as thick as thieves, which, just in case you didn't know, is a term which describes people who are extremely close friends, sharing secrets and sticking together, often implying a bond so tight they seem to be conspiring or working together, much like a group of thieves relying on each other. And these two were indeed the very best of friends, with an extremely tight bond and connection, and would forever rely and be there for one another. Rob would take it upon himself to go out and put himself out there in the world of acting, looking for roles that he could perform. He would appear on an episode of the very popular British police drama series called The Bill, which ran from 1989, the year Rob was born, until 2009. The show has won a number of awards, including BAFTAs and the Royal Television Society Awards. So a great show to bag a role on for Rob. In the year of 2003, he appeared as himself on a Channel 4 reality series called Trust Me, I'm a Teenager. A show where adults lived with teenagers to learn their ways, featuring families like the Osbournes and the Rainbows. Rob himself signed up for this show and won the role, showing his initiative. In the next year of 2004, Rob appeared as an extra on the movie King Arthur, a historical adventure film recorded in the UK, Ireland and the United States of America. His brother Jamie also bagged himself an extra role on this movie too. So clearly both talented young boys, noticed for their personalities and likability to many. Then in 2007, Rob would appear on 2 episodes of the BBC One's British comedy featuring Nicholas Lyndhurst from Only Fools and Horses, old Rodney Trotter, plus many others like Lee Oakes. Oh my god, he's hilarious. I was literally just watching him on 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps. He's so funny. And Danny Harmer, who famously played Tracy Beaker. Oh, I loved that show growing up. Her hair is just phenomenal. I was always so jealous of her glossy, curly, thick and luscious locks. And it seems that Dani Harmer made a close bond with Rob, as she is involved heavily in the future in fighting against street crime on behalf of Rob himself.
Bye.
Molly? They're back! Code red! Code red!
Bye, Diana.
Is that a prawn?
Good night, Mr. Venables.
Night.
Okay. What's going on?
I don't know. I was with you.
They're having a party.
A party? No.
Molly? Alex? Hi, Gran. Just making coffee. Do you want one?
What's going on?
Don't know what you mean.
Did someone leave this house dressed as a prawn?
Just some guy collecting for the London to Brighton Shellfish Fun Run.
What are these?
Why don't you try some? Just one spine.
In here, now.
My mum said that, say I catch something like winter vomiting disease.
Next up for Rob was working on his friend Aaron Truss's short zombie film, which was titled Employee of the Dead, where Rob played a character called Mr. Rose, described as the overbearing supermarket manager, when a zombie outbreak occurs during the night shift at the supermarket. Rob put on a great show, delivering a memorable and comedic performance, displaying his many talents on his good friend's movie.
Great. About last week, look, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I know on your last shift there was an incident involving you and another member of staff.
He was just a cucumber.
Look, now you've had your first strike, and believe you me, this is your second. And I like to think of this store as one big family.
Do you know what? I wish that guy would just drop down dead.
Telling me.
PM. I wish that guy would just drop down dead. Isn't that what you said, Rick? I always knew you'd slip up, and now you have. Who's going to believe a scumbag like you? A scumbag on his second warning.
It's just a cucumber.
Cucumber or not, you slipped up. And now I've got you by the balls. You're up shit creek and I've got you right where I want you.
Like, he's not a zombie, Dylan, all right? We're not in a film.
I think he certainly enjoyed working on this project, along with his friends too, sparking something in the young, aspiring actor dreaming for bigger and better things.
Break!
Use the cucumber!
I do not tolerate that.
The young, skillful Rob would even appear on the popular current affairs and news talk show called Tonight with Trevor McDonald, who is a Trinidadian British newsreader and journalist, and very famous and well known in the UK and has been for decades. So it's clear people were noticing the gifted and aspiring actor even from just aged 11, when he first began trying in the arts. Many people were now interested in talking to the young boy and featuring him on their TV and movies, but the biggest movie role that Rob had bagged thus far in his fruitful career was his role as Marcus Belby in the incredible, popular, famous and well-loved and much adored Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. He had also signed to appear and work on the second instalment, but would be tragically and brutally murdered before the first was even released. He never ever got to see himself feature on one of the biggest movies of his lifetime. Just so incredibly sad. In the film, Rob was a member of the Ravenclaws. This house is not featured as often as, say, Slytherin or Gryffindor, but he still made his mark on this movie, plus all of his co-stars too. And he would fully commit to his greedy guts character, that's for sure.
What about your uncle, Belby? For those of you who don't know, Marcus's uncle invented the wolfsbane potion. Is he working on anything new?
Don't know. He and my dad don't get on. Probably because my dad says potions are rubbish. His only potion worth having is a stiff one at the end of the day.
Fully immersing himself in his role as the gluttonous Marcus Belby and entertaining everyone around as always.
I was saying to Robert, you ought to be careful, don't eat too many. Pace yourself. Luckily for the humour in the scene, he ignored my advice completely and he didn't pace himself at all. He just ate and ate.
I did one scene with him, and you could tell just from that and the commitment that he entered into it with, that he was good.
Rob was remembered and noticed for his scene in the movie, where he is observed eating at Professor Slughorn's Slug Club dinner. Was a bit of a mouthful for me. His character was supposed to be gluttonous, so loved to eat. And Jim Broadbent, who plays Professor Horace Slughorn, remarked on how funny Rob was, even when he warned the young actor to go easy on the pudding because he knew there'd be numerous takes. He just delved straight in and continued eating throughout, making everyone around him laugh, including a humorous blooper clip of him too.
The only potion worth having is one at the end of the... shut up, that'd be...
He was always entertaining others and everyone around him, even when unintentional. He was just naturally funny and a very likeable guy.
Go on to be very successful, and you could feel that he was had a special quality about him.
The movie had begun filming in the year of 2007, but was released later in 2009, after his death. I believe, given the chance, he would have made many more TV and movie appearances, entertaining us all for years to come. Probably working on something right now, as we're busy binging his previous series. He was just so pleasant, personable, charming and good-natured. A charismatic individual, talented yet grounded. Just the kind of person you want to watch and would be blessed to have in your life. For the premiere of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which took place in 2009 after Rob's death, his fellow cast members would be seen wearing white ribbons in respect and honour and to commemorate Robert Knox, who would have 1,000,000% starred in Part 2 also, having signed to do so. That is lovely, and shows how many hearts he touched. Just filming his fairly small role in the movie, making friends with everyone on set, as it was so natural for him to do. A warm and lovable guy, cherished by many. And with so much more to offer to this world, his loved ones, many friends and family, all of his fans, plus the TV and film industry as a whole, stolen away from everyone way before his time by an evil, sick individual with no care for the lives of others.
Last night, the cast of the sixth film, The Half-Blood Prince, were forced to swap their wands for umbrellas as the heavens opened and the glamorous world premiere became a washout. Still, you can't fault those dedicated fans for sticking around. Oh, bless her.
Hello, Dan. You right?
Hello. Hello, can I very quickly, in case she's watching, I must wave to my grandmother. Hello, GP. Hello. That's done now.
That's really sweet, isn't it? Glad we could be of service.
She told me the other day and she went, wave to me when you're on Sky News. Okay, fine.
You are officially the wettest of the cast now.
Really, yeah. Well, I'm quite proud of that.
Emma, why is it when you walk over, the rain disappears? Does that happen wherever you go?
Oh, because I'm magic. I don't know. I don't know. It seems to have rained every single Harry Potter premiere, every single year.
The entire cast are wearing white ribbons as a tribute to actor Rob Knox, who was tragically killed just after filming on this movie ended.
I believe his parents are here tonight. Just how shocked we all are, and what a waste, and how dreadful.
So the pitter-potter of rain didn't spoil a big night, and hey, J.K. Rowling was smiling. She's so rich that she must have paid someone to stop it raining when she showed up.
I got it.
Thank you, Emma.
Can I borrow my pen, Emma? Thank you.
It's mid-July, it's been boiling hot. I was convinced, I was like, it's going to be so hot, I'll be fine. And what does it do? It rains.
Now, I have to say about the little white band that you're wearing.
Yes.
If you could just explain what that's for.
We're all wearing white bands to commemorate Rob Knox, who was stabbed last year. And it's just a memory of him, really, just so that he knows that we're thinking of him.
The murder. From Hogwarts to a living hell. It's Saturday, the 24th of May, in the year of 2008. Rob had just finished another filming session for his role as Marcus Belby in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, where he was said to be living the dream, being involved in one of the biggest film franchises of all time. Rob was celebrating his epic win for his role in the movie, his ideas and dreams for his future, and what he could go on to be. And it was also a bank holiday weekend too, where in England, pubs see a huge surge in punters. The bank holidays are much busier than most other days for pubs and clubs, and bars over here. I don't know if it's just a British thing or not. If you are watching this from another country, can you let me know if you do have what we call bank holidays in England? I'm intrigued. Rob chose to celebrate his recent achievements and happiness and content with his life at a local pub called the Metro Bar, which was located in an area called Sidcup, a part of South East London, England, and primarily in the London borough of Bexley, where Rob and his family are from, so he knew this venue very well, visiting many times over the years. We also eat at pubs, by the way, you guys. The Metro Bar was busy, roaring with voices of many happy people celebrating the weekend off, as a lot do work them usually, with cheer all around and the atmosphere booming. Rob, accompanied by his loving, then 17-year-old brother Jamie, plus a group of friends, was just pleasantly, thoroughly enjoying his night, with his bright future ahead of him. But evil, pure evil, was lurking in the background, by the name of Carl Bishop, who I believe to be around 20 to 21 at the time, as it says he was born in 1987, so 2 or 3 years older than Rob when he was attacked and killed. Now this little cowardly scumbag was actually known to the brothers and the police, in fact. As it said, he was even out on bail for knife offences at the time, which is disgusting to say the least, as that is indeed what he would use to end Rob Knox's life that day. Just evil. He was described as a career criminal, well known to many in the area for being a serious bad apple, who was also very aggressive and confrontational and liked carrying and using knives, as cowards over here often do. Apparently, around a week prior, the friends and brothers, mainly Jamie, had encountered the violent and angry male Carl, where Carl stated it was a revenge attack from that day, from coming off worse from the interaction with Rob and his pals. So, what he went on to do, brutally stabbing the innocent young actor and 5 others, was all because his precious little ego had been damaged. Wow. Pathetic. As many knife crimes sadly go, they end up having such a menial and petty reasoning behind them, often to even out a score. A lot of the time, in gang and street crime, it is in retaliation and competition with other street gangs. You see it a lot on British police TV shows. Just genuinely the most feeble and pointless reasons behind these attacks and crimes. And a lot of the time, the victims are just completely outnumbered, because if one member of the gang got beef with someone, they all do. It's really sad and sickening just how extensive knife crime is here in England, being much more ready, available and accessible compared to, say, guns, which we certainly have issues with too. I was only the other day watching an episode of 24 Hours in Police Custody, a brilliant British TV series following real crimes, where just this exact thing happened. So menial and petty. The brother had a fallout, and his brother got stabbed in retaliation so badly with a machete he died on the spot. And it wasn't even his beef. Honestly, so heartbreaking. But Rob wasn't in a gang, nor was his brother Jamie, or any of their friends, and none of them would go out carrying weapons such as knives either, but Carl could, did, and would do. After their uneasy encounter with Carl, he was heard saying as he left the group the week before, "I'm gonna come back next week and someone's gonna die." A very real threat he would sadly go through with. So on that day, on the very busy and booming bank holiday weekend at the Metro Bar in Sidcup, London, Rob, Jamie and their friends would bump into Carl again, where a heated argument ensued. But it ended and Carl had walked away, leaving the scene and everyone else thinking it was over. But it certainly wasn't. Carl left the pub raging, his little ego bruised once again, feeling small in front of a public audience, like anyone gave a crap. They were just enjoying their evening, drinking, dancing and conversing. But Carl felt he needed to act out his revenge on anyone who dare speak up or down to him. As I said, he was known to many and police for being a violent knife carrier, one who had used the weapon previous, yet was out on the streets of London, bailed. Ridiculous and disgusting. With one thing in mind that day, evening a score with brutal revenge against Jamie and anyone with him. So after he left the pub, he returned, probably to his home address, to retrieve 2, yes, 2, because one knife wasn't enough for this cowardly, spineless pussy. 2 kitchen knives, which he took back to the group of friends at the Metro Bar, totally unaware of their impending doom. Carl violently burst through the public and into the group of friends, armed with a blade in each hand. He began thrashing them all around at each boy, mainly and seemingly aiming a huge amount of anger and resentment towards 17-year-old Jamie. And of course, protector and loving brother Rob was not about to watch his doting brother get stabbed without trying to intervene himself. Instead, he threw his own body into complete danger to protect Jamie with his life, literally. The pub erupted in chaos as the knife-wielding madman described as being almost possessed really, like he was on something maybe, said by Jamie. Just kept swinging his knives around, injuring many in his wake. But it would be Robert who took the brunt of it all. He suffered 5 stab wounds, all mainly to his torso, and 1 deep wound to his chest, that would end up sadly taking his life that day, whilst just trying to protect the ones he loved. All that young Robert Arthur Knox could have been and gone on to achieve in his life was cut short and ended in such a brutal and sadistic, unforgiving manner by a straight-up cowardly individual with a bruised ego who should have been locked up. It said Carl Bishop was already a suspect in a burglary plus knife-point robberies, just months prior to the horrific killing and assaults. So clearly he was just a complete danger to be around the general public, known to carry knives and not afraid to use them. But that's the British justice system for you. He had a long and violent criminal record. His vicious and savage rampage lasted just 90 seconds that night, but in that time he injured around 5 people, 1 severely and killing Rob. As one of the friends frantically contacted 999 for police and the ambulance service, Jamie would place the worst phone call of his life to his mother. "Come quick, Rob's being stabbed."
He was hysterical, absolutely hysterical, and I was going, "Calm down, what's wrong?" And he said to me, "Mum, Rob's been stabbed."
Sally could not believe what she was being told. My son? Rob? Who would stab my Rob? He didn't have any known enemies. He wasn't a part of a gang, or violent and a confrontational person. She could not fathom what she was being told down the phone. But sadly, it was true, and Robert was dying, surrounded by his friends and best friend, his brother Jamie. Having to see the suffering of someone they truly loved so much must have just been so horrific and unbearable. Bless them all. And it's clear that this incredibly traumatic event has seriously affected his brother, who actually witnessed it all happen. And Rob's life was taken protecting him. That must give you a lot of survivor's guilt as well. Rob would be rushed to hospital, but sadly wouldn't pull through. Everything that this caring, giving and heroic soul could have gone on to do and give to the world, taken away from everyone in just 90 seconds as well. Rob had such a kind and giving heart. He once gave all of his birthday money to a charity to help the starving children in Africa. No one influenced this action and decision. That was just the kind of sweetheart he always was. He just enjoyed giving to others and seeing them smile, and full of joy and love. That is what made Rob happy and whole, all taken away in one brutal knife attack. So there was no doubt to everyone at the Metro bar that day who inflicted these injuries and murdered Rob Knox, 21-year-old Carl Bishop, who could have easily just stayed away that night after the initial argument, but didn't. He chose to leave the venue, to retrieve his deadly weapons, and then return to use them. That is full intent to cause bodily harm at least, and yes, murder, plus plenty of planning, and so many opportunities to stop and not pursue with his evil plan. But he didn't stop. He fully intended to seek his revenge upon the group, where Robert would tragically lose his life, protecting the ones he loved, dying a true hero. Everyone in the community was in shock and horror to hear of this brutal knife attack on a group of innocent boys, killing one in the process. Many tributes, loving messages and flowers were laid and left for Robert, where his family would visit and get to see just how many lives their son and brother had touched. Just incredibly heartbreaking, but very touching too. Now young Rob had actually opened up to his friends how he would never want black at his funeral or a black car, and he would want donuts for everyone to eat and enjoy. Bless him. So of course, his wishes were honoured. He had a beautiful white hearse to take his body through the streets of London, and everyone wore light colours, just like he wished. Which is lovely, his friends knew of his wants and wishes, as we often don't converse with our parents or close loved ones about death. His loving family would be invited to see their talented son at the premiere of the Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, where they got to see all of his fellow cast members honour him with the white silk ribbons. They must have just been so beyond proud and emotional to see all of the support. So, Carl Bishop was apprehended on the scene that night in May, held down by others there, and he would be charged with multiple offences, including the murder of Robert Arthur Knox and injuring multiple others. His trial began in February of 2009, 9 months after the stabbings, where the coward pled not guilty and said it was all in self-defence, which his choice to leave that day, retrieve 2 knives and return and use them shows that was just total bollocks. His life wasn't in danger. He was the danger. He showed absolutely zero remorse throughout the trial to any of his victims or their loved ones, even going to the point of refusing to even come out and leave his cell as the family members of Robert gave their impact statements. No respect at all, just pure evil, sadistic, remorseless scum. He even boasted in court how he gets free meals and gym in prison anyway. Ugh. Just no care for the ample suffering Rob's family and all of his victims were dealing with. Even callously choosing to actually add to it in court. Just beyond vile. Rob wasn't Carl's only victim. He brutally injured 5 others in that 90-second savage attack, most of whom were Rob's close friends. Now I'm going to redact the majority of these victims' names, as I couldn't confirm them all. But I believe that one that was injured severely was called Dean Saunders, who was stabbed in the neck with such brutal force in such a delicate place that the poor young man would be left paralysed from the neck down for the remainder of his life. Everything stolen away from him, needing care each and every day. Horrific. Another male would also be stabbed in the chest by the crazed armed Carl. Then one received stabs to the hand, plus someone was also stabbed in various places like his arm and face. Then there was another victim along with Rob, of course, but the charges would actually be dropped on this offence. Don't know how. This may have been someone called Tom Hoskins, I'm unsure, but whoever it was didn't receive justice. Many of these young men who went through one of the most traumatic events of anyone's life stood up in court and spoke of their suffering. Very brave of them all. Along with Cole's clear, violent, aggressive and knife-wielding past, all of the eyewitness statements, plus the brave victim impact statements, and then Cole's demeanour and responses when he did show up in court, that is. all plainly showed and displayed what kind of sick, brazen scum he was, and certainly not afraid to arm himself with knives, and plus go on to use them, severely injuring multiple people, ruining many lives and killing an innocent, heroic brother. And on the 4th of March 2009, Carl Coward Bishop would be found guilty of Rob's murder and other offences. He therefore received a life sentence, which never means life. That was with a minimum of 20 years before being considered for parole, which means he could be out in as little as just 3 years from now, back on our streets. Now, if that's not something to worry about, I don't know what is. I guess it's some justice what they received, but absolutely nothing can ever give Dean Saunders the ability to walk again or even feed himself. Nothing will ever repair all of the damage and heartache and suffering of so many people, and nothing can ever bring back the joyful, kind, caring and talented young Robert Arthur Knox, just 18 years old when murdered. He would now be in his 30s. And that scum could be out soon. Following his tragic murder and passing, Robert's parents, particularly his father, were shocked, disgusted and saddened to hear just how prevalent knife crime is in England, and just how many people a year die from knife attacks. He has since bravely spoken out many times about the terrible subject, fighting against knife crime in his son's honour.
We found out a few months ago that the death rate from stabbings was close on to 3,000 since Rob died. On a daily basis you're fed someone died today and someone died today. You don't get the true picture of the collective of the amount of people, and it's staggering. I just couldn't believe it. Lives are important and we should protect young people on the street, so there need to be new measures. There should be education in schools. There should be tougher measures for people carrying a knife. There's no reason for a young person to conceal a knife in his sock, in his jacket, carry it with him in the streets. I've always advocated they shouldn't be in prison, but they should be in a custodial place. Because you put them in a traditional prison, they're going to mix with some bad people and probably come out worse for it. So it needs to be a custodial sentence at minimum tag and say 3 months with an exit program. The idea is to break them away from any gangs that they're in, break that tie, and hopefully when they come out, if they can get turned around, they won't go back. Some people can't escape some of their lifestyles, but it's not punishment, I've called it prevention. You need to stop people from being killed.
Colin, thank you.
Thank you.
As a tribute and in honour of both Robert Knox and Jimmy Mitson, who each died in vicious street crimes and attacks, the Charlton Athletic and Millwall football clubs wore special kits on the 19th of December 2009 at the Valley Football and Sports Stadium in Charlton, London, England. The logos of both football club shirt sponsors were replaced by text which read, "Street violence ruins lives." I also believe they held a silence in Rob's and Jimmy Mitson's honour. The shirts were later auctioned off to raise funds for the Rob Knox Memorial Fund and the Jimmy Mitson Foundation. Just beautiful, and a stand to the complete unnecessary, deadly crimes in our country as a whole. On April of 2021, an ITVX documentary on Rob's life was released, titled Knox, The Rob Knox Story, which was directed, edited and produced by his good friend Aaron Truss, who I mentioned earlier. I believe they met in school, both bonding over their passion for the performing arts and acting, but Aaron went down the directing route and career in life, preferring being off the screen, and decided to make and dedicate this documentary to his dear late friend. Many people feature on it, such as actor Ray Winston and his brother Jamie, who recounts the horrific events of the day his brother was murdered in front of him.
I remember hugging Mum, and as I was hugging her, I could see over her shoulder that they were resuscitating him. And I think at that point then, I knew that it was bad, and I think in my heart, I knew that he was probably dead then.
I wish it'd all stop tomorrow, but I'm afraid that's not going to happen. It's just getting worse. When's it all going to end? But you never think it'd happen to you. Knox. The story of Rob Knox.
For Rob to do what he did on the night of the 24th of May, you know, I can't imagine many people doing that, but he put himself in harm's way to save his friends and his brother, and that's heroic.
It looks really good, but I can't find it in full anywhere, not even on RTVX like it says it's available on. So I'm gutted about that, as I really wanted to watch it. I don't see why they would have taken it off, but they do that. It seems a really emotional and hard-hitting watch, yet such a loving celebration of Robert's life and achievements, with clips from the short film Employee of the Dead, where Aaron admits that they didn't even have the rights to film in Sainsbury's supermarket. They just blazingly took their equipment along and, using their cheeky, charming selves, got away with it. Brilliant. Saved some cash there. Free filming venue. Ray Winston also features heavily in the documentary, fighting against knife crime and talking about it, demanding lessons in British schools to teach of the serious dangers and repercussions of just carrying a blade. I believe Ray and his brother Jamie took part in like a short film of warning of knife crimes too. As well as people like Tom Felton, who plays Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter, and Blake Harrison from The Inbetweeners, plus many more people, all sharing their stories and love for Robert Knox. In 2009, the Rob Knox London Film Festival was founded and set up in his honour and memory. Originally by Michael Wearing, who I believe was a British television producer, along with Rob's parents, Colin and Sally. Over the years, this festival has allowed many young and upcoming filmmakers and actors from all over the world to platform their skills and talents to industry professionals, giving many the start they needed to go on and be a star, just like Rob would have been if given the chance for years to come in his industry. I believe Rob would have been so immensely proud and honoured that this was all set up in his name by people who truly loved him. Also, the year that Rob was murdered in 2008, the Rob Knox Foundation was set up by his heartbroken and loving father Colin, and mum too. Stricken with grief and learning of how prevalent knife crime was on our British streets, he felt he had to speak up and at least try and make a change. Bless them all. I can't imagine such pain and heartache. The foundation aims to fight knife crime through education in schools and youth settings, whilst also focusing on young talent in film, theatre and TV through initiatives like the Rob Knox London Film Festival. It campaigns for stricter laws, supports youth arts and raises awareness about the dangers of street crime and violence, to create a positive change in Rob's legacy. Just how beautiful, hey? Rob's mum Sally and good friend Aaron Truss are involved too. His mum and dad are co-founders and Aaron is a trustee. The foundation also works in partnership with the Charlton Athletic Community Trust on the Street Violence Ruins Lives campaign. It's actually more dangerous to be walking the streets armed with a knife than it is to not be armed. Just being seen with a weapon can result in an unprovoked attack, and many young people just do not think about the long-term repercussions of such actions. Many being under the age of 21 before their frontal cortex development, which typically occurs in the mid to late 20s, later for males than for females. This involves the maturing of the major functions of the brain, such as planning, decision-making, impulse control, and social behaviour in general, showing just how worrying it is for these young males to be walking around the streets armed with knives, but no mature brain to actually comprehend the velocity of their actions in doing so, and of course, using them. More needs to be done against knife crime and street crime in this country to prevent future such tragedies. And the stances and foundations like this are a step forward. To donate to the charity, the Rob Knox Foundation, please visit here and contact them. But also, please talk to your children too. Warn them of the serious dangers of walking around with a knife. Also, just how easily it can result in them personally becoming a victim too. And if you're noticing knives missing from your home, do not ever brush this off. Until people stop walking around with weapons such as knives, this major problem in our society will continue to ravish the innocent public. And as we've seen in today's documentary, a life or many could be ended in seconds, all over absolutely nothing really. Just egos and self-preservation, plus revenge. It's just so sad. Now this world shall never get to see and witness all of the amazing work that young Robert Arthur Knox would have undoubtedly gone on to do. Already signed for the Deathly Hallows, despite his character and the original story actually leaving, they were clearly so impressed with him that just didn't matter. They wanted Rob back. Now that really just says it all, doesn't it? Loved, honoured, cherished and respected by many, Rob Knox died a complete and true hero that day, protecting his friends and brother till the very end, giving everything he was and could be to protect the ones that he loved and cared about so much. Fly high, you true hero, and bless your kind, giving soul forevermore. Oh, sad one here, you guys, and just so unnecessary. I do hope that you enjoyed watching this though, and celebrating the life of Robert Arthur Knox, 1989 to 2008. May he rest in heaven for eternity, where they gained another true angel and hero. Colin and Sally, Rob's parents, go on and continue making their son so proud, and in his honour and memory, along with standing up and fighting against street and knife crime, they both go out to places like schools, prisons and other youth settings, just anywhere that will let them speak really, and hear their voices, spreading the word and teaching of the dangers of carrying and using offensive weapons, just like the ones that took their boy. Truly admirable and honourable, and I'm sure Rob is smiling down at them all and watching on in true happiness.
There's a young kid who's 18 years of age is dead because of knife. And a lunatic at the end of it as well, you know. And this guy gets 20 years.
which means he'll be out in 5 years, 5 years' time, which kind of freaked me out a little bit because when we first started talking about this years ago, it seemed a lifetime away, you know? This guy should be doing life. He should never be on the streets again.
My message to anybody, probably younger than Rob Dave, it would be, think about your friends, think about who you're hanging around with, and if you are with anybody or you know anybody that carries a knife, tell a responsible adult. It doesn't have to be your parent, it can be a teacher, it can be anybody that is a responsible adult.
What about your uncle, Belby? For those of you who don't know, Marcus's uncle invented the wolfsbane potion. Is he working on anything new?
Don't know. He and my dad don't get on. Probably because my dad says potions are rubbish. His only potion worth having is a stiff one at the end of the day.
What about you, Miss Granger? What exactly does your family do in the muggle world?
My parents are dentists.
Fascinating. And is that considered a dangerous profession?
No. Although, one boy, Robbie Fenwick, did bite my father once. He needed 10 stitches.
It's just a cucumber.
Look, just let me finish, okay? This store does not and will not tolerate this kind of behaviour.
That's bullshit.
Now, you've had your first strike, and believe you me, this is your second. And I like to think of this store as one big family. I don't know whether you've had any personal issues at home. If you ever need any help, my door is always open.
Cough. Prick.
But say I catch something like winter vomiting disease.
Thank you all for being here, watching, liking and subscribing to my channel. I truly hope I gave Rob's name and memory respect, honour and decency. This is purely my hobby and passion, and I wanted to give Robert Knox something myself, his own Random Gen documentary, and I really hope that he likes it too. Stay safe out there, guys. Stay out of trouble and unnecessary confrontations. And please, please, also anyone with teenagers, talk to them and warn them of the dangers of knife and street crime. Take care, all of you. Random Jan.